What is going on, you guys? It's your boy. I forgot the name I was going to say this time, so I will remember it probably about halfway through this, and I'm gonna like shout it out in the middle of a thought because I had a good one. I don't know if it was good. None of these are that good, but I had one that was not bad at least, and I totally forgot it. I spent about 5 minutes before hitting record trying to rack my brain to remember what the name was, but I just could not remember. Anyway, we are back. I am recording this one a little late at night, so I don't know if I'll be more creative, less creative, more articulate, less articulate. I don't know. Probably all in the worst category, just because I am. Yeah, I can already tell. I'm not quite as sharp as I normally am in the middle of the day. Anyway, have some cool stuff, or cool, I guess that's one way to put it. Just some things to talk about, and just kind of let my mind wander with this. I think at first it'd be fun to talk about some of my pet peeves. This is not an exhaustive list, mind you. I really just have like two major ones, and they're only really pet peeves in like a given social context. I'm sure I have dozens of others in their own unique contexts that all rile me up just the same. But really, these are pet peeves of mine that people say about themselves or say about each other. In really any context, I think it serves no purpose. Anyway, the first of my pet peeves is not the concept of hard work, but the claim of hard work, right? So anyone that claims themselves, or even just as a virtue of someone else, to be like, oh, I guess the easiest context I see it in is like you go to a job interview, and again, this is a maybe bad example, but it's the one that comes to mind. You go to a job interview, they go, oh, like, whatever, tell me about yourself. You go, oh, I'm a hard worker, right? What the fuck does that mean, right? And I mean, because that's so like nothing. That says nothing. 'Cause, I mean, think about this. In terms of like how efficient is your work, right? Like, how are we measuring that? So do we measure it in like emails per hour, right? So it's like, okay, then like, are you still a hard worker then? And like, I mean, because there's like the quantifiable aspect of that is impossible, because really, like, there's nothing I can do to compare two people who claim to be hard work. Like, again, the claim itself, what does that mean? Who's ever going to say they're not a hard worker, right? Who's going to walk in? Who's going to tell anyone for anything? Oh, he's lazy. I'm lazy, right? I don't think hard work as a even an idea belongs anywhere in the like. It should be only a result of what you've done, right? So you shouldn't ever have to say I'm a hard worker or he's a hard worker. It should either be implied in what you've accomplished, or you're not, type of thing, right? I'm not saying anyone who's accomplished anything is a hard worker, right? But there's a certain, you put the dots together really on a case-by-case basis to determine whether or not somebody is a hard worker, in my mind, right? So, for example, somebody, like, somebody's working 5 jobs at once or something like that. It's a kind of a stupid example. But, yeah, there's probably grounds there to say that they're not super lazy, right? But ultimately, I've seen people who, even on paper, are accomplishing the same thing, and I really see this in college more so than anything, but they're both in college getting some degree, and they're both going to claim they're hard workers, right? Or somebody on their behalf is going to claim they're a hard worker. And you really watch what they're doing every hour of the day. You know, they get out of bed at, you know, let's say, just say person A and person B, right? Person A gets out of bed at noon, like freaking goes and takes a shower for 35 minutes, and then like gets Chipotle and comes back, and then kind of watches a few episodes of something, spends 35 minutes on a homework assignment, turns it in, and then like goes to a bar or something like that. And on paper, over that same period of time, they're accomplishing the same thing as, say, someone else who gets up at 8 and it just generally has a more productive day, right? Maybe they like go hiking, and then they like write in their journal or something. I don't. There's just too many. There's too much of a discrepancy in what can be said on paper and the claim of hard work backing that claim. So in my mind, it has no value at all. Like, I don't really care whether or not somebody claims they're a hard, because who's not going to claim they're a hard worker, right? I don't know. I just think it's such a nothing thing to claim. Anytime anyone says, "Well, I'm a hard worker," like, okay, what the fuck does that mean, right? Like, the laziest person I've ever seen is still going to claim they're a hard worker. Maybe they don't even look that bad, right? You don't really know until you actually work with someone to determine whether they're lazy or not, right? So it's like, show me a log of what you're doing every hour, and I'll tell you whether you're a hard worker or not. Even then, it's like, so is the expectation then, for someone to work 24 hours a day and just be this nun who just sits in their room and does work all day? Like, no. So it's like, where's the line, essentially? And I guess the real answer is there is no freaking line. So I think it just doesn't serve a purpose to say that you're a hard worker. And anyone, I don't care if it's you or anyone else, to say they're a hard worker, right? That means literally nothing to anyone. So I mean, I don't know. I just think I would rather, let's say I'm someone reviewing resumes or something. I would rather someone tell me that they're proficient in Microsoft Word than tell me that they're a hard worker. Right? Like, that's how little, like, as little as being proficient in Microsoft Word tells me, which, again, at this point, I'm not even sure why people are still listing on their resumes, but that's how I would value that more than I'm a hard worker. Means nothing. Anyway, that always pisses me off when either people who I know clearly don't do anything, don't work hard in any capacity. Again, I'm saying that's not a word we should ever use to describe anyone, but even if we did use it, it would certainly not apply to this person. Those tend to be the people running around telling them how hard they're working. People that are working hard have nobody to run around and tell how hard they're working. They just work hard, right? They're not like running around claiming how hard they work and defending they're the ones actually doing shit. So, like, don't tell me, show me type of thing. And I think nothing's more true with that statement than working hard, or the idea of working hard, which again I disagree with just on a fundamental level. I guess similar to that, and in a different vein, is it's when, so let's say you're talking to somebody about something. Again, that's very descriptive. Great job, idiot. But you're like, oh, have you met so-and-so, right? Or what's your opinion on so-and-so? Or you went on a date or something with a person, right? And I think something you hear a lot that, again, is something that just frustrates me because it's such a nothing. Like, oh, he's a nice guy. Nice guy. That's the word they use for nice guy. Oh, he's a nice guy. What does that mean? Like, if anything, that's more of a negative than anything, right? So it's like the first thing. It's like, oh, you should meet my boy Duncan. He's a real nice guy. It's like, I mean, I'm glad that's that doesn't. What does that tell me? Not like what. And I mean, even that, I think it even like I have a higher opinion of people that I would describe as like I would say they're an asshole, right? So like someone's my best friend, I go, how is he? Oh, he's a fucking asshole, but you're gonna love him. That to me tells me is a better review of this person than like, oh, he's a nice guy, right? And what's the first thing anyone says anytime they're about to shit on somebody, right? To somebody else, to a third party. They're gonna say, oh, he's a nice guy, but whatever. You know, it's like it's immediately what follows the he's a nice guy thing. And it's again, to me, it's such a nothing thing to say. Like, what, not to say that not everyone's a nice guy. There's a fair number of, I guess, assholes in the world, but even describing someone as that, like, you're either insulting them or you're lying. And either way, you're not doing anyone any favors by saying that. The person you're describing or the person you're talking to. So I just think it's something try to never say about anyone. Not that I'm ever the guy that someone's like, oh, what's your opinion on so-and-so? Because again, I always tend to have a weird opinion on things, but if I ever describe someone as a nice guy, I'm kicking that guy in the nuts, or metaphorically the woman, or whoever it was that I'm talking about. I'm not going to say it's exclusively men, but I'm just saying nice guy refers to women in the same way. Anyway, just two like pet peeves of mine that I wrote down, specifically when like discussing yourself or other people. Like, don't ever describing somebody as a hard worker or a nice guy are two of the most nothing descriptors ever. Like, that is, you're literally telling, you're accomplishing nothing by saying that. And again, that's not like this is like gonna, solve all the world's problems if people stop saying nice guy and hard worker, but it's just something that is that pisses me off just a little bit. So and I think in the same vein too, like you can rope in a number of other like these kind of blah statements, like I'm a critical thinker. It's like, really? I mean, to me, you're telling me you're not a critical thinker, because if you critically thought through that statement, you would know that doesn't tell me jack shit. So don't why would you claim to be a critical thinker? Like, you're clearly not, because you know that's a nothing thing to say. Like, instead, have some kind of certification or reference or something that proves that that indicates that you might be a critical thinker. Not to say that anything proves, but you have a lot better shot at convincing someone who's not an idiot that you're a critical thinker by avoiding telling them you're a critical thinker. So really any of those synonyms I can kind of group into the same category, because they're all equally as pointless. I mean, hardworking, critical thinker, nice guy. I mean, there's a number that I think don't really belong in that category, but for the most part, it's I think those are kind of the big heavy hitters in my opinion. Those are bad ones. Cardinal sins of the self description world. Damn, are all these full? But yeah, just some things that really just grind my gears. like that isn't overused. But yeah, anyway, just some funny things that I was thinking about. So, something else that's on my mind a lot, I don't know why. There's probably some psychological or some problem or something. There's always a word for everything now. There's never anything that's just like, shit, getting through shit. It's always some fancy word. But what's been on my mind a lot is like, I think this is normal for especially people just at younger stages of their life trying to figure stuff out. I'm not a kid, obviously. I think I have I've earned more respect than that. But what do I value? And I don't mean in the sense it's like, oh, I value hard work. And like, give me a gun. But like, what am I working towards? Why am I doing anything that I'm doing? Because I mean, honestly, like, I look at what I do day to day, and there's not that many great answers to why I'm doing X, Y, or Z, right? So it's like, so today, for example, lifted. Why did I go to the gym? Because it like gives me confidence boost or something. That's a good answer, I think, in the grand scheme of things. Not that lifting is ever a bad thing to do, and then I spent, let's see, I spent probably 6 or 7 hours doing this big homework assignment. I got it done, luckily. Hopefully it's, at least a B or something. I think I did pretty well, though. I don't know. But, yeah, like, so, okay, why did I do that? Like, okay, maybe it was an exercise in critical thinking. But, it's like, okay, fine. Let's extend it out a bit. All right, so I'm going to do some version of today where I'm going to lift, do all my schoolwork, probably do a little bit of something like this where it's, short-term enjoyable that kind of gets me to the next day, right? But ultimately, like, did I enjoy the 6.5 hours of work that I did today? I mean, I could have done something worse. I could have been doing manual labor or something, which is probably worse. But is that really like the whole? Am I living my life to avoid work that's that bad, right? I mean, surely there's, a better answer than that. But really, what I had here was, in terms of what I value. This is where I'm coming back to. I told you I'm a little all over the place right now, but I think what I do value, at least at a very basic level, is the freedom of choice. I think that's a very attractive idea to me, in the sense that I feel that many don't have the freedom of choice, in the sense that could they choose to do nothing, right? So having even the choice to do nothing, I think, and I mean, obviously, I don't think I would enjoy doing nothing. That's not the point, right? And I think I'll talk about this later, but I would not enjoy doing nothing. I think that goes without saying. I don't think anyone does. I mean, you might say you would, but after like a week, it would get old. But having the pure freedom to do exactly what it is that you want to do when you want to do it, within reasonable bounds. Obviously, like, if you couldn't, it'd be kind of a stupid thing to like, go murder someone. I mean, that's like a stupid. I'm not including that in the discussion. I'm talking about, like, I wanted to do nothing, or I wanted to, spend all day bowling or something, right? Like, would I even have that option? And in general, like, no, people don't have that kind of option, right? You see kind of the hustle and bustle of day-to-day life. People generally don't have the option to, drop whatever they're doing and go bowling, right? I mean, maybe, like, yeah, okay, maybe you don't want to do that, but, like, the freedom to even say that you could, I think, is an attractive idea to me, where it's like I feasibly could do what I wanted. So part of what that is obviously, I guess, money related. So, okay, if you have a bajillion dollars, you don't really have to do anything. But I think what often gets overlooked there is that people that have that much money have to manage all that money, and that's sometimes even more work than just. You might even rather have a 9-to-5 job, just instead of having, because that's what their money's a 24/7 job. They have to manage all that and make sure that, whatever crypto or BS pump and dump scheme their money's in right now doesn't, they pull out early enough or something, whatever it is. But I think the freedom is something important to me, and I think having enough money, I think, is important for that. Jesus Christ, this is going to be annoying. But I don't think that's a central, like, ideal. I don't know that it's that. Like, I would like the freedom, money-wise at least, to not give a shit about it. Like, spend $18 on a taco type of thing, where it's like I don't care that I spend $18 on a taco. But most people, even myself included, don't have that luxury. They have to, buy half the taco or whatever it is. But to me, I think the freedom is really important. And so where that comes into play in my mind is, and this sounds lazy actually, on the vein of hard work, this sounds lazy, but absolving myself from as much responsibility as possible. And I haven't begun that process. If anything, I'm doing the opposite of that, where I'm just kind of randomly accepting as much responsibility as possible, because I think it's a good exercise. So that's I'm doing the opposite of what I'm saying right now. I realize that, but strategically, I just think as a short-term play, it makes more sense to, while I still have kind of this youthful energy and this ambition, it's good to not kind of burn that away, but use it. I think it'd be bad for me to not channel the ambition somewhere, or whatever words you want to use to describe what the youth have and lose over time. And this kind of brings into play something else I had was, not that I think about this all the time, but I do think one of my greatest fears, just as a human, as an individual, not as a human being, but as a individual, is just growing content with everything. I think I value the urge for betterment in some sense, and I think it'd be my worst nightmare if I just didn't care and just went. Again, content, I think, is a perfect word to use, right? If I just got really content with everything and didn't care, to me, that's like my worst nightmare. Because then what's the point then if you're not really working towards anything? Then I just don't see how I would never enjoy that. So, I obviously want to put myself in a position to. I think one way to never be content is to be in financial distress your whole life. But there's also a lot more. You're going to kill yourself faster doing that than you would, both literally and kind of in the figurative sense that you would be wearing yourself out stress-wise. So there's this kind of juxtaposition, which again, I do like that word. It is a nice word. But there's a difference between putting yourself under a considerable but manageable amount of stress in your day-to-day life, and being secure in your things and effects and your financial well-being, in the sense that you're not you can go to sleep at night, right? You can call it a day when you've had enough. You can kind of take your foot off the gas pedal, right? But if you're always in some kind of financial trouble, you never can really go off the gas, which is one way to keep the gears going. But I just think that, to me, I'd rather be a bored billionaire or whatever than somebody who's got the energy to get up every morning because he knows that if he doesn't get up and work, he can't eat, or they're gonna steal all his shit or something. So I think a couple strategies on that is to to have enough money and a safety net and some kind of finance, just to really remove the financial piece from your day-to-day life. Because I think that's really my most divergent opinion. It's just I have such a strong desire to be financially apathetic is the word that I use. Like, I just literally don't care. And, you know, like, oh, money makes the world go around. You can't not care about money. You know, it's dangerous. Well, you know, if you had enough money and you were able to, you know, outsource the management of said chunk of money and, you know, XYZ, it's very theoretical you could live your whole life and not care about money. And that's my goal in the short term, at least. And it's, you know, it's not that I want to like make a lot of money in the sense that I want a high paying job, right? The thing with that is that how does that absolve me from responsibility? If anything, the higher that job's going to pay is the more responsibility I'm going to have, right? And the less freedom I have, you know, I can't give up the whole what I'm doing all day and go bowling because I want to go bowling, right? You know, right? Like I couldn't either I'd have that job I had to work. It's, you know, high responsibility, high money, right? Or I don't have any money and I have to work the job because I can't afford it, right? Type of thing. So, there's certainly two sides to absolving that kind of responsibility. And I think it's not about having no responsibility. It's just about being able to control all the responsibility that you have and be able to just kind of like, because I think you see people with, I think the right thing to do with all your money, which I see some people do, others not so much, is just to like kind of dump it and waste it into just stupid projects that you like and want to do. So something I've always wanted to do, and if I ever had a bunch of money, which again I'm going to speak hypothetically here, I'm broke, but I'm not poor, I'm broke, big difference. I can talk about that later, but I would love to just kind of get up every day and grind on a like my own video game, right? Make my own video game. Now you might be thinking, well, why don't you just be a game designer and then you can, well, okay. Generally what people do is they'll have this idea that they want to, okay, fine. We'll use a video game developer as an example, right? They want to be a video game developer, so they maybe they get a degree or whatever. They become proficient enough to do it, and then they go work for Valve or they go work for Call of Duty or something, or whatever. They get the job that is what they want to do, and they end up fucking hating it, most of them, right? And maybe they have to convince themselves or do some mental gymnastics to assure themselves that this was the dream that they wanted, and they are happy or something. But I think a larger percentage of them than would admit ends up doing what they thought it was, right? But if let's say you had the financial apathy unlocked, or whatever word you want to use, like you're sick of it, just stop doing it, right? Like, okay, just quit, right? And also it's like maybe they join the game developer and then they realize that they're making some other dipshit game they don't want to make, and it's like super stupid, and then they end up, growing to hate it because they've worked in order to make their own game, they have to be a senior developer and they got to spend 20 years doing the thing, and then, by the time you're 45, there's not a creative bone in your body, and you're trying to, pull sand together to make some shitty game you thought you had a great idea for, but, when you were young and you had all this energy and those ideas, they were out the fucking window, right? So my better strategy is to assume that I'm not going to enjoy whatever job that I'm going to have, and I'll just use job as like a term for having no choice, right? If I don't have a say in the matter in the terms of I can just not do it, or I can just go bowling all day, then it's that's kind of the absolvement from the job, I guess. But yeah, so I've wanted to make a video game. And like, do I know what the game is? No. Am I gonna like go balls against the wall to like make this video game? No, because I mean, I don't even know if I really want to do it like in the long term. It's just something I thought would be really fun to do and do as a project for a while. But ultimately, like, until I hit that level of financial apathy, it's kind of a stupid thing to be actively pursuing, in my mind, at least. Yeah, I guess I kind of lost my train of thought there, but anyway, I just think people make the mistake of trying to pursue their real dreams, and then they end up kind of in this midlife crisis where they hate their job, but it was their dream, even if they achieved it, right? Not to mention the ones that don't ever even get their game developer job, right? They were told they weren't cut out for it or some shit like that. So I think I have no expectations to enjoy any kind of work, and I'll put quotes around that I'm going to do for anyone. I think that's fine. I think there's lots of ways around it to still be able to do what you want to do. But I know that time is that one unrenewable resource, because money in itself is a renewable resource, right? It can make itself, and I think there's a higher risk involved for trading your money with time than most people think, right? And this doesn't just include working. I'm not talking about any kind of job. I'm talking about anything that you're doing. So, even your recreational time outside of sleep, I'll even group into this category, right? Some people just sleep too damn much, and then, that's time you're missing. I'm not saying, oh, get up at freaking 3 a.m. and I'm very much in the gray and everything here. But like, people view like different contexts of their time differently, as if it's any different. My argument is that it's not. The same time that you spend or waste watching YouTube videos or at work or sleeping, it's all weighted the same, right? And I think this even is interesting to think about in terms of like vacation, right? So people are trading. Again, I'm speaking down to any people like this. I don't mean to ruffle feathers in that regard. I'm trying to take this into the abstract and not personal. If this applies to anyone, it'll apply to me soon. So it doesn't sound like it's anyway. But you trade like 6 weeks of like overtime for like 2 weeks of vacation. Like, is that a fair trade? Like, at what point is it, like, I don't know. I feel like especially the time in your youth is just so unique and valuable. You have this like developing view on the world, and you haven't really cemented your beliefs. You're relatively plastic, I suppose, upstairs, and it's too often that you rush into kind of like getting through it, so you can like just getting through the 6 weeks so that you can take it easy and relax and live. But again, the time's all weighted the same, and that's why sometimes I feel like I'm just in kind of a rush to like to do things with my life. I realize that's just as unhealthy, but I don't think it's all stupid in terms of me wanting to rush and get through things. There's something internally telling me that it's the clock is always ticking, which again, one strategy is to like try to maximize your time to the best, without overdoing it. I think there's certainly limits to all that. But also to be good at slowing things down. I'm not very good at that. But your ability is to slow time, not doing drugs. I'm just saying, slow time down in terms of let it milking an hour, right, instead of just kind of wishing it away, right. Those are, that's a skill in itself, even. So I don't know. I think, not to say I have the right idea on anything, because I don't. I've noticed I tend to view these things especially very different than my peers and just really everyone. And again, I don't think it's no one's right, no one's wrong. It's different sides of the same coin. And to me, at least, it's an interesting thing to think about. And I don't know. I think people, especially now, are more aware of the transient nature of life, and people are desperately seeking confirmation or answers in their beliefs. And I'm not out of that picture for sure, but I certainly think it's realizing that there isn't really a good answer to anything, and the real answer is just to stop looking, which to your brain is to your nice logic-driven brain, it's like the worst thing you could hear, right? To stop seeking and stop that fantastic critical thinking process that you have boasted so well on your resume. Yeah, but you've seen. I'm gonna whatever. I don't even know who I'm kind of talking to, but you see more of these doomer personalities. If you're not familiar, and again, I'm probably butchering this because I'm not super familiar with it either, where it's like people have just kind of given up on the American dream, higher aspirations, and they just kind of give in to the cruelty of day-to-day life and late-stage capitalism, however you want to frame it. Again, I'm kind of fitting into this narrative myself just to prove a point. But it's hard not to disagree with them. Them just being the doomers who have kind of swore it all off and says it's, we're all doomed to hell and whatnot. Again, for lack of a better way of describing it, that's more or less the sentiment. And some people view the solution as some political upheaval, right? Some world war, some governmental collapse. But I don't think I think a better solution in the short term, or the short term being your whole life, a better solution for your life is to reorient your attention, and again, turn it all inward, right? You can, as realistic and as fair as a lot of the criticisms are of systems in place and people and whatever. Really, again, the blame is warranted, absolutely, but ultimately, I think does you and I more good to turn our focus inward and direct the attention there, right? It doesn't. Okay, I'm not sure what the philosopher's name was, but to actively embrace the chaos and the uncertainty of the absurdity is the word he used. He's a big name. I feel like a dunce for forgetting it, but just embracing that, and then trying to, in that same token, just trying to maximize what you do have. And again, that sounds fucking corny as shit. I realize that, and I mean, even I hear stuff like that, and I'm like, okay, well, fuck you, buddy. It doesn't solve my problems. It doesn't. But what else am I supposed to say? And I think it's one of those things where it's like those who can't teach or something. Same thing. Like I'm sitting here saying is as if it's some answer or something. I obviously can't do it for myself, otherwise I wouldn't feel the need to share it, right? So I think it's this it's a false reality that people think that, oh, like they're some genius, they're shedding all this insight. It's mostly because they can't do it themselves. That's why they're telling people about it, is because they can't do it themselves, and it's sitting there mulling over in their own brain. So it's the same thing I'm doing right now, really. I know that that's really the best use of my time, is to just kind of let it be, again, for lack of a more articulate way of saying it, but it's hard. I can't fucking do it, so I'm just gonna do the best I can. I mean, again, that fucking means nothing too, right? But yeah, it's just interesting to kind of always turn things. I think it's a good and a bad thing to be very independent, in the sense that you're always taking responsibility for whatever's going on, right? So you see, I think it's the worst person to be blaming everyone else for what's happening. And we've all seen those people that just can't seem to, nothing's their fault, yada, yada, yada. There's no shortage of hate being thrown at their way, so I'm not going to pile on, but there's also a lot of issues that come with just turning everything inward, making it everything your fault, and then you just feel like a piece of shit all the time, because even if it's not your fault, you're just going to say it is, because it's generally better than blaming it on someone else. So instead of being critical and having this solutions lens on it, I wonder, is it possible to just have a again, kind of a stoic mentality about it, and just, okay, maybe it's my fault, I'm just going to accept that it's my fault, but at the same time, like, do I need to solve it, or is there, is, like, does it matter, really? Maybe it does, but more often than not, I think it's unhealthy to be on either side of that, taking too much responsibility or not enough. There's no one answer to anything. But, sorry, I'm going to try and do this without fucking it up. Shit, I'm a fucking idiot. Whatever. Yeah, I'm just cleaning up the nether here. It's a bunch of mess. Yeah, anyway, I'm out of I'm drawing a blank right now, so I'm going to look at my little text document. Yeah, so I guess another interesting thought is, what would I do if I won the lottery? So I was talking about that financial apathy earlier, right? Which is, I think, at least my short-term vision for the now. It's what I'm chasing now. And that could really come any number of different ways. I just, some people do it via the minimalist track, where it's like, if I just have as little possessions and require as little to live as possible, I don't have to worry about spending money on this or that, because it's, I don't, it's like $2 and I live every day on 88 cents or something like that. What am I doing? Why am I going back? I'm a fucking idiot. But that's one way to do it. The other way is just to be like a bajillionaire and like chase this, do stock options until you lose all your money, or you make $1 billion. So both are pretty stupid things, right? So like rejecting all the good thing about modern society. So like freaking, living on a farm and making your own stuff. And some people that's appealing, right? Kind of totally unplugging, but I think there's a lot of the potential benefits of technology far outweigh the negatives. The issue is the implementation of such is generally negative, more negative than positive, right? So it makes sense to overcorrect and be this monk living in the woods, eating, beating eggs out of chickens or something for every meal, and like, spending 8 hours a day working on the farm or something. But I think that's taking a step backwards. That's kind of stupid. But anyway, that's just an overcorrection, I think, in my mind. But assuming I reach this level of financial apathy, right? That's where I started with this. before I got off topic. So what would I do if I won the lottery? I'm not even play the lottery, but if I won, what would I do? I've said this before. This is like my my ultimate dream life. And again, it's not like it's not detailed, and that's like the point. Is there's like a lot of holes here, and that's the whole point. Is that part of it says I don't freaking know. Like I don't even know who I was like 4 years ago. Right, a totally different guy. And who's to say? I'm hoping that in another few years I don't even know the person I'm looking at right now. Right. So even these videos I'll look back at and I'll be like, what the fuck, stupid dog. I'll look back and be like, why the fuck was I making these stupid videos? Or, I don't know. Maybe I'd be a full-time YouTuber by then, So it's like, I have no idea. But if I was able to reach that level of financial apathy, here's my plan. My genius plan. Oh, you stupid dog. Oh no, he's gonna kill him. My plan is to I want to like design my own house. So I think that'd be fun. Not even just like I have specifics for what I want in the house. I think depending on how much money that I got from the lottery, I'd like some cool stuff in my house. Nothing that complicated my life, but stuff that I thought was useful and cool for me or something. I just wanted a urinal in my house for some reason. I think that'd be sick. Because like whose house has a urinal, right? It's fucking wild. Anyway, but what would I do? I already established that I would get bored pretty quick if you had a lot of money. I think anyone would, whether they say so or not. It's like, well, how bored could you be on a private jet? You get used to it, right? I talked about the whole hedonic set point thing, and I truly believe by that. I don't think that any amount of money is ever going to satisfy anyone. I think money won't be what satisfies you. Self-awareness will be what satisfies you, not the money. So understanding that it is truly meaningless. Maybe it'll take you to become a millionaire before you realize that it doesn't do anything for you. But either way, it won't be the money that does it. It'll be you yourself kind of realizing that, okay, well, that maybe it's cool I have this much money, but I didn't really do anything for me. I'm just as happy or as miserable as I was before. So really kind of changing yourself is more important. But here's what I would do. I'm totally off topic from where I was. I would design my own house, make a sweet house, do whatever. I would invite people over to my house all the time. I'd probably live alone, or I don't know what the other romantic situation would look like. But either way, I'd be in my house. And I'd invite people over. I'd love to have people over. We could, have parties or just game nights or whatever. I don't really care. Just being in my own house, kind of my thought of an ideal location is just like a huge plot of land. I'd say 20 or 30 minutes outside of a huge city. So like, my mind goes to like Texas, right? So you buy a huge plot of land in Texas, but then be 30 minutes outside of a major city, which again, I don't know how reasonable that is, right? But I want a big plot of land that's secure. I'd probably invest heavily in safety measures. So, again, this lottery money would probably go pretty fast. So I'd have to sit on it for a few years and let it compound before doing any of this. But anyway, big plot of land, high security, have people over, that type of thing. So what would I do every day, right? This is a more important question. This is what I really wanted to get with this whole hypothetical. I would either continually, so iteratively, kind of with a list. I just have a list of things to do. I realize I haven't said anything yet, but imagine a list of just things, right? These things would include really, I think examples do this better than actually explaining it, because again, that I've still said nothing. So let's say for like 2 weeks, for a month, I'm gonna buy $10,000 worth of pottery equipment, and I'm gonna do pottery like every day for 4 weeks. I'm gonna hire some genius at pottery who's just gonna show me how to use the stuff. Tell me a little bit about the history of pottery or something, and then I'm just gonna make pottery every day for 4 weeks, or 2 weeks, or a week until I get tired of it, and I'll be like, okay, that was fun. I'm gonna sell the equipment, get rid of it, but do it until I'm just kind of experienced it a little bit, and then I just go to the next thing on the list. Maybe it's something else just as stupid, right? I could try to, do some stupid Olympic sport or something. I don't know. I could try the javelin, right? So I'll go to throw a javelin for a couple weeks, see how that goes, right? And really just have any number of different things that would be fun or interesting to me, even just for a small period of time, right? So it's like, because I don't know I don't see myself having some one specific ass hobby that I spend all my time doing, right? I'm not just gonna buy a World of Warcraft server or something and be some god. Like, I don't even play that game. I've never played it. I don't even know how to play it. But I'm saying I don't have some super specific dream like that. I'm keeping it very general in the sense that I know that maybe I'll latch on to something, and then I'd have the option to just do that every day until I got tired of it, and then I would stop. So that, I guess in essence, that's the plan, which doesn't really sound like much, because it's like, well, it's super vague. There's nothing specific. I think that's the point. It's because, like I said, I don't even know who I was like a couple months ago, right? Totally different mentality, different day-to-day things, and I think that's good. The moment I can look back on myself in 4 years and say, oh man, nothing's changed, I'm gonna be miserable then. That's bad. I don't want that. So I'm glad I can't recognize the thoughts, actions, and person that I was even just a few short months ago, right? I mean, to a certain extent I can. It's not like I've this changed person every 6 months. I'm the same guy, essentially, but ultimately my view is ever evolving. My views on things are ever evolving. My skill set's ever evolving. I'm trying to always be improving in some sense. Which again, I said my worst fear is just kind of losing all that and being okay with just whatever, right? And yeah, I guess that'd be my little lottery winnings thing. That's what I would do. I think it'd be pretty fun to just try all kinds of different shit. Go hang gliding for 2 weeks, or just stream on Twitch and dump $600 into Twitch ads or something, and see if I can get a following that way. And then I don't know, try acting. I don't know. There's all types of things you could do if I was able to be lucky enough to win the lottery and just reach that level of pure financial apathy. I'll tell you one thing I wouldn't be doing is dicking around managing all my money. That even people that are really rich have to do. If I ever got a bunch of money, the first thing I'm doing is I'm hiring somebody. I'm going to say, look, I'll give you, I don't care what my yearly returns are, I'll give you freaking however much money, depending on how much money I have, I'll give them a bunch of it just to manage it. So I said I don't ever have to worry about that. I don't ever want to look at a bill. Just do it, take care of it. Call me if there's a problem. Which would be a luxury. Nobody can really afford that. But that would be awesome if I could do that. It's just be totally, I don't give a fuck about the whole money side of things. Why is this fucking up? I don't know. Yeah. So that's it's kind of my spiel on some of my pet peeves, my biggest fears, and I guess in some totality my goals for my early career. And again, I don't know, you could ask me in a week and I'd have totally different ideas, but I've been pretty consistent on that life goal of just being able to do 2 to 4 to 6 week benders on just random stuff. That's been kind of my idea for a while. So who knows how long it'll persist. I don't know. Maybe I'll want to raise dogs or something. I would never do. I'm just gonna put that. I'm gonna say that right now. I would never want to do that. But maybe. No. I would never want to do that. Dog is like the opposite of absolving responsibility. That's just look at pictures of dogs or go to a dog shelter for a little bit, right? I think if I'm lacking companionship that bad, that I just need to find actual friends. The dog is okay. I could just never mind. I'm not gonna get into the whole dog thing. Maybe next time. I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I love dogs. I'm not a dog hater by any means. I just love other people's dogs. I don't want the responsibility of a dog myself. It just doesn't. The ROI isn't there for me. Which I realize is, for any dog owner, they're probably face palming right now, furious at what I'm saying. But I don't know. Again, my views change, so don't get that mad at me. I'm dynamic. Practice disagreeing with someone. It's healthy. Trust me. Even though we're really bad at it, especially now. I don't know. I'm bad at it too. That's why I'm saying it. Again, like I said, people can't teach. There's some saying like that. I think it's funny. It's not entirely true, because I think if that might be something I would do in my little weeks of doing stuff, is I'd like teach like one night class at a university, just on something like random and fun that I wanted to teach, and probably hopefully something I have, some expertise at. So I'm not getting laughed off the thing, but I think it'd be fun. But again, like that could be something I would do. Would I want to do that for a full-time job? Absolutely not. Would I want to do pottery as a full-time job? No. Develop video games as a full-time job? No. I think our interests, at least as humans, and I guess maybe it might be just me being young, but are so diverse that trying to box in your interests for a single career is an uphill battle, because you're fighting not getting sick of it and not being able to do the other interests that you might have. And then you find even people that do have their dream jobs always have like a shit ton of these hobbies, because they have to like get away from the office and stuff like that. I don't want to have an office. I want to be able to do to have, again, that financial apathy. Say, you know what, I don't really care. The office can go fuck itself. I will, have the freedom to do whatever I want. Which, if I'm ever there, it'll be a privilege. But anyway, I've rambled long enough. Get into my third-person spectator's view, and I will bid you all adieu. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment if you have some random shit you want me to psychoanalyze. Yeah, till next time. Buckets out.